Hi everyone. In this video, I just want to walk you through the Progymnasmata exercise assignment. So what I'm going to do is show you a little bit about all the different parts of the Progymnasmata and then what the finished result would look like. In short, the Progymnasmata is an exercise or an activity to teach other people about rhetorical theories by producing some sort of text. So in this actual assignment, what you'll be doing is in groups, you're going to be making exercises or activities to teach your classmates about a rhetorical theory. And then after all of the groups have made these exercises and activities, you're going to go out individually and find 2 of them that you like, and you're going to complete those over the following weeks. And this will give you a chance to think about teaching people about rhetoric and learning about rhetoric, and how we can do this through producing different types of texts. Overall, this is supposed to be a relatively enjoyable assignment, and I really want you to try and be creative with it. So try and push yourselves to think of things that are a little bit outside the box, or think of different ways to really get people working with these rhetorical theories. The overall structure of the assignment is that in the first week, you're going to just be getting together with your groups online. You do not need to meet in person or even chat through video or anything else like that. You're allowed to discuss this however you'd like to, but make sure that you start to talking to each other, getting to know each other. So in the first week, you're going to be writing a proposal. And basically this proposal is just going to explain to me which theory you're choosing. I'm going to give each team a set number of theories to choose from. What that theory really means in your own words, so explain to me what that theory is. What you think your exercise is going to involve. Just give me some basic outlines. And how you think that exercise is really well fit to this particular theory. So show me how that exercise that you're imagining is going to help people really start working with the nuanced elements of this rhetorical theory. So, and then finally, just also quickly tell me about what types of materials your classmates might need to complete the exercise. Sometimes it's just going to be your PowerPoint, sometimes you're going to give them some examples, sometimes you might want to draw on outside materials such as news stories or even physical objects in order to make this work. So that proposal is going to be relatively short, about 200 words, but realistically I just want it to give you a solid path forward in your project, so that you can all work together and you know what your goal is. That way I can also provide you a little bit of feedback at the outset and make sure that you're on the right track for a really fun and interesting exercise that you're producing. During the second week, you're just going to put together a first draft of the assignment. So the actual assignment is probably just going to be a PowerPoint. The vast majority of them just are PowerPoints. But basically what I want you to do here is really work on the exercise portion of it. We're going to talk about the overall structure of the final in just a second, but in the second week, you're going to create a draft of the PowerPoint that really focuses on the thing that the people will be doing, how they will be using that rhetorical theory, what they will be making, what kind of supports they need in order to make that thing. That way, again, I can give you some feedback on it, make sure that you're really approaching the theory in a complex way, an enjoyable way, and make sure that it's well tuned to the needs of the students in the class. Then during the third week, your group will put together a final draft, which will have all the necessary parts. There's 3 major parts of the Progymnasmata, but we'll have all of those necessary parts, and you'll complete a really brief peer evaluation survey. This peer evaluation survey is really just there to make sure that everyone is contributing to the project and that you can really feel that everyone is accountable to the group. So this is a way just for me to check in and make sure that everyone is on track with that. So this final draft, what is it going to look like? If we scroll down here a little bit, you can see the structure of the Progymnasmata PowerPoint. It's going to have an introduction. The introduction should be relatively short, like 5 to 10 slides long, and it should really provide an introduction to the rhetorical theory. So a lot of these theories people will not have read about before they're actually using them in this project. So tell them about it. You can go out and do a little bit of outside research beyond the textbook. You can work with the information in the textbook, but figure out how you can present this rhetorical theory in a way that's going to be accessible and interesting and valuable to the people who are looking at this PowerPoint. And those people will be your classmates. So how can you present this in a way that they can use the information from this rhetorical theory? The second part of the PowerPoint is going to be the main focus of this. Create an exercise. Show people what the instructions are for them to actually use this theory to produce something. So in the example that you'll see in a second is going to be using the 5 canons to make a speech. But you can do things other than speech. You can have people creating visual artifacts such as flyers or advertisements. You can have them produce written things. You can have them produce videos that really involve a lot more visuals. You can have them make just sound things. You can do a lot of different things, and it's really up to you and your team on what you want to do with this. So the actual exercise, ideally, will take everyone who does it about 30 to 45 minutes to complete. So relatively short, but not something that you can complete in about 5 minutes or just be done with immediately. So the second part of the Progymnasmata PowerPoint is going to be this interactive exercise. So you have the introduction, then the exercise. So the final part of the PowerPoint will just be some debrief questions. This is probably just 1 or 2 slides at most. And it really is just a chance for the students who complete the project to reflect back on their work and think about how the rhetorical theory influenced their work and how they might use it in the future or what they might do differently in the future. So those are the major parts of creating the exercise. After you're done creating the exercise, during the 4th week, you're going to do one other team's exercise, and during the 5th week, you're going to do another team's exercise. Towards the end of that 5th week, after some responses to your exercise hopefully start rolling in, you're going to do a brief reflection survey. And again, this is really focused on your own work in doing the exercises and also largely on what you might do differently in designing a similar exercise in the future. So see what people actually produced. Did they do good work? Did they not quite do what you expect them to do? What might you do again in the future? Because a lot of this reflective practice can help you hone your ability to kind of create these things. So let's move over and just look at a quick example Progymnasmata and what the actual activity looks like. So this is an example Progymnasmata that I put together on the 5 canons. If we go to the first few slides, we're going to see some introduction. So this introduces what is the 5 canons and tells you where it's from, what they're really about, and gives you an outline of what's going to be covered during the next slides. So the next slide starts getting into some of the details, and this is really what I do want to see in these introduction slides. Give us details on these theories. Tell us a little bit in your own words, but really start helping us know what this theory is all about. Don't just copy and paste stuff from the book. I really want you to explain it in a way that's going to be engaging to your peers and help them understand the theory in a way that our textbook really can't do. So I'm just going to go through the different details of it. In this case, the PowerPoint goes through all 5 of the canons. Sorry, it kind of skipped past delivery, but there's the 5 canons. So then we get to the actual Progymnasmata exercise instructions. And you're often just going to want to label these directly. Really let people know that this is the part where they're going to start taking the theory which they have and applying it directly. So there's often a quick overview of what you're actually doing in it, and then some step-by-step instructions. You're really going to want to get into this kind of detail here. Tell them exactly what to do, because the more specific you are with the instructions, the more interesting results you're often going to get. So rather than just giving them very basic or simple or generalized instructions, if you can give them specific ones that force them to use the specifics of the theory in interesting ways, you're going to find that the results are enjoyable and engaging and really worthwhile. So we can look here and that we can see that a lot of these instructions go into detail here. So we have invention, and it's going to tell you to do several different things. And then this next slide is going to talk about the different topoi that you're going to need. And so we have that information, and then we have the arrangement canon, and then we have the style canon, and then this next slide goes into some more detail on certain figures of speech and reasoning that you can use in it. And then we have the delivery canon, and then some just basic instructions on what to actually do. So use all 4 of those canons and then record a video, and after you're done, upload that video to the Progymnasmata exercise board. So our final projects, as you'll see in the example that I'll post on Canvas, are going to be posted as PowerPoints in Canvas discussion boards, and then responses to them are going to be posted as comments on that discussion board. So it tells you to upload that video and then also include some notes on how you use the different canons. And then there's some quick debrief questions, and this one asks you to answer at least 3 of these debrief questions. So this is basically what the final Progymnasmata that you're creating in your teams looks like. It's a relatively long-ish PowerPoint presentation that includes all 3 of those parts. So that introduction, that exercise, and the debrief questions. So if we go back over to the Progymnasmata exercise, you'll be completing these exercises in the final weeks and then doing the reflection survey, and that about covers it. So if you have any questions about this, please do get in touch with me. In the meantime, hopefully this gives you enough of an introduction so that you get a sense of the project and then start working with your teammates on actually crafting your ideas for your Progymnasmata. I'm really excited to see the results of these projects because this is usually a really fun activity and really enjoyable to see how you think about creating activities to get people involved with these rhetorical theories. Bye.